surface of the problems. That, okay, what makes this person my age do something like that? Can he say that, oh, I blacked out? You know, a lot of people will say, I blacked out and I didn't realize I killed somebody. Because you kill somebody in a second. It only takes a split second. Just like drowning. Drowning, you die in its silence. There is no screaming, there is no help, there is no nothing. When you're under that water, you're not above it. It's very sad, and it only takes a second. But leading up to that, in the anger, why wouldn't he go and talk to his mom and dad about it? Why wouldn't he come forward?
Why would the KKK lynch someone? It's the exact same thing. It's because they hate them.
Remember this.
And they can't be convinced to like them.
They've got a group of friends that are encouraging that. He's not a loner, is what I'm trying to say. He's not alone in this. He was encouraged, just like ISIS. They recruit you, they deprogram you, they get you to thinking the way they want you to think. And then they get you over there. And then they train you. I mean, it's not something, you can be influenced by anything. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's just as bad as you posting on Facebook, why are Muslim people in our Congress? Get them out of America. Why do you say that? What's the reason for that at all?
Because they've come up, because of them standing up and saying that they don't believe in our beliefs. They're not here thinking the way that we think. Okay, well, you came to America because of the way we are and the way we think.
No, they came to America because in the Constitution it protects everyone's right to think whatever they want and have whatever religion they want.
They left their religion and their country. Why?
At
For
4?
something better. Well, then why are you bringing it over here, wanting to inflict it on us?
They're not inflicting it on us. They're living their life. In the Constitution.
She stood up there and said she hated America.
Mom.
No, they didn't.
Mom.
Yeah,
That's
she
Trump's
did.
lies.
Mom.
He lies.
No.
Mom, listen. You know why they made America? Do you know why they came over
Yes.
from America? Why?
Because it was all of the pilgrims that came.
No, why?
From all
No, why did they
different
come?
For freedom.
Freedom from what?
They're
Freedom
fighting.
of religion. The
Not
entire
necessarily
no, it was
religion.
completely freedom of religion
They
because
were
the
killing
king.
each other.
It
The
was
Roman
freedom
Catholic
of
Church was
religion.
trying to kill the Protestants.
The
The re-
backbone of
the
the
religion
no,
of-
stop talking.
No,
No,
listen.
stop. Let me
What
tell
is
you
the,
what I
what is
learned
the
in school.
largest
No,
religious
stop,
belief
stop.
in the world?
Stop talking really quick. The backbone of the Constitution, the one thing they said we have to have in the Constitution is to have freedom of religion where anyone can be whatever religion they want and it doesn't matter.
Right.
So why does it matter if someone's Muslim? They're not coming over here saying, everyone, you should be Muslim. They care about America just as much as we do. And they're just
They're
trying to
right.
protect everyone's rights.
And I respect their religion as long as they keep it. Like, I respect my religion. I don't go over to the Muslim world and say, hey, Christianity is the way to be and a Baptist
And
is
they're
what
not,
you've got to
they're
do.
not doing that. But Christians are doing missionary trips to other countries trying to force people to become Christians.
No, to believe in a God.
No, they do. They go and do that with people of other religions, and that's why there's such a bad side of Christianity because people don't like how they try to throw it and push it on everyone. Muslims literally,
They are trying
Muslim
to.
America can't do that because everyone already has this negative stigma because of terrorist attacks that have happened because of radical groups. So Muslims out of everyone in the United States have been the most quiet until now. And just now there's people getting into Congress who are Muslim.
They've been in Congress.
No, that's relatively recent, since like maybe 2015.
They've been there. No, there's been people who've been there for 20 years.
And so what? Why can't someone be Muslim in
I'm not
Congress?
saying that they don't go in and help us formulate laws that are going to be the benefit of the population of America. Because America is not based on what we are the least minority at this point.
Who?
Whites. There's more Mexicans here than there are whites.
No, there aren't.
Yeah, I
Whites
think
are still
so.
the majority.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. By like
You look at the
2045,
census.
by 2045, they won't be. But
No,
what does that have to
because-
do with why you said that Muslims shouldn't be in Congress on Facebook?
I didn't say that.
You reposted something that says, literally it has like some cowboy standing there. It says like, why do we have our Muslims up in Congress? Like, they shouldn't be running our country. There's literally
Because
no
she got
reason
up
for
there
that.
on there and said that
No,
she
they
did not
didn't.
like America. Christopher, it's all over the news.
Where did
No.
Trump said that?
Trump said that. She did not.
No, she said it. He
No.
repeated it.
Pull up a video of her saying she didn't say that. She probably said something along the lines of she
They
wants to
did.
help change and make America better, and then Trump took it as, oh, you don't like.
He's
my
saying
No,
America.
that
she came right out and said
He's
it.
saying that she's anti-Semitic and has made comments like that, and she has not.
Why are we
He's saying that
arguing about
I hate
that?
America. No,
She did say it. She wished that she could go back home.
no, she doesn't.
Yeah, she said that. And then when he brought it to, told her, well, you know what? You don't like it here. You can go home. There is a freedom. In her home, she can't leave. When you guys go out of the country, then you can talk about coming back into this country. Because it's a totally different thing when you leave here. Just like those two little white brats that went to Italy and killed that police officer and thought, well, we'll just pack our bags and get the hell out of here and go back home. Now they're sucking up. They're in Italian prison. Totally different than here. Because let me tell you something. Our prisons and everything like that takes forever for you to get through it. Over there, they hang you before we ever even get to
And
court.
where?
Italy.
They don't hang people in Italy.
They've already sent the trial. They're going to trial already. They just did the crime.
They
It
probably
didn't
have a
take-
quicker due process considering how much smaller of a country it is in America.
They get it done. I respect that.
Never has a president left office to collude with others to impede the next sitting president of the U.S. until Obama. How did Obama collude?
Read some of his statements. Read
No,
some of
I
his
want you to
facts.
explain to me how you just saw that and retweeted it because you're Republican.
And do you know about
Do
the
you know what Obama has said about him?
Do you know what Trump has done?
Trump was the person that started Obama is not a real American, that we need to see his birth certificate,
Well, just like we need to see his taxes.
and he's refusing to ever do that,
That's
even
right.
under subpoena.
When
So
he
he's
doesn't
breaking
take
the
a
law.
paycheck from America, and he's got the worst job in America, I respect that. I don't need to see his money. He's not taking any.
You know why he's not doing that? Because he had so much stuff dealing out of the country with his taxes so he wouldn't have to pay. It's kind of hypocritical because he put all of his business outside the country so he didn't have to pay. And now that he's president, he's trying to force everyone to stay in
To come
America
back.
to pay taxes.
He's-
Yeah,
he
here.
looks at-
You tweeted this with a plane flying to the Twin Towers, and you said somehow we went from this to having Americans hating radical Muslim anti-Semites and socialists not only in Congress but on the Foreign Intelligence Committee. How the hell does this happen? Showing the girl on Congress.
Those are
How does it
alt-right
happen?
Do
memes.
you know that's race? What you just said is racist.
How does it happen,
Mom,
Alexander?
do you know? Can you see how this post is racist?
No. I don't think it is.
You're comparing an entire group of Muslim people to someone who crashed a plane to the Twin Towers.
I am comparing that with a group of individuals that tried to take America down.
What?
It wasn't one plane that accidentally
Okay,
ran
Mom,
into a
Mom,
building.
you're a mass shooter. You're a school shooter. Oh, the guy who did it was white, and he was Christian. You're a white Christian, so you're a school shooter, Mom.
I don't think he was a Christian.
That's your exact logic. Do you see how that doesn't make sense? Just because some Muslim person,
A group, an organization, just like the KKK. Okay, how many
yeah, exactly, you're a KKK member.
How many organizations in the KKK has gone into any country and taken it out? Or killed massive amounts of people?
They have. They've lynched hundreds of black people and hung them from
That was
trees.
in our own country.
Exactly. So you're a KKK member.
Go get my
Oh,
white
they're
pay.
a group. They're white. Do you see how that logic is flawed? You can't blame just because there is a small group of radical people that are Muslim doesn't mean you can say, oh, all Muslim. Okay, so you remember the Christians? You remember the Pulse shooting when there was this Christian group and they had the funeral for the people at the Pulse nightclub, and there was these people out there with signs saying like all of them are going to hell, like at their funeral. They're Christian. Are you part of that group where they're evil like that?
No.
So
No,
why
I'm not.
should you try to say that someone, just because they're Muslim, comparing it to that? That's completely messed up.
Who did all of the damage, Isaac? Was it Muslims? Was it Turkish?
Muslim's not a country, Mom.
Muslims are in all that area over there. Turkey is part
It's
of
a
it. And
religion.
guess what? I dated a Turkish. I dated a man from Turkey.
That's like saying I'm not racist because I have one black friend.
I don't have many
Just
black
because
friends.
someone is Muslim does not mean they have anything to do with that. That is racist. You're
I see what
comparing
you're saying.
you're
I
comparing one
agree.
specific event and
True.
applying it to an entire group.
True.
That's
It's-
like saying
it's no different than priests hurting boys when they are supposed to be of God.
yeah,
and
exactly.
the
So if
Catholic
one priest
religion.
did that, it's like how people say, "Oh, all priests are like that." You're doing the same thing. It's like saying, "Oh, I
No,
saw
you know
one."
what I am
No,
doing?
listen.
You know, listen to me. You know what I'm doing? I look at priests differently now because before, just like anybody, you used to put them up on a pedestal. They were a lot better than you would hope. Just like a priest, just like a pastor should be. But guess what? They're not. But when I was your age, they were of good faith. They were of good men.
The Catholic Church has been doing that and covering it up for decades.
And now we wonder why we've got so many gay boys running around.
Do you see what I'm saying? That applying one
Do
event
you
like that
see
to
that
it?
I am
No.
saying, listen, that goes
You-
back to being a 21-year-old kid, grabbing a gun, putting on earphones, and knowing when he did that, when he put those in my opinion, when he put the earplugs on, he knew exactly what he was fixing to do. Therefore, he was in his right mind. He committed murder, and now it's of all these people, and he was such a coward bully that he couldn't turn the gun on himself. And if you knew anything about bullies and the people's psyche, is my whole thing.
Okay, so he was white and he was far right Republican, like neo-Nazi
We
Republican.
don't know what he was.
But
I don't think
listen,
he was anything when
can
he
you
went in there
listen?
and did
Can you
that.
listen to me?
Except Matt.
And were they anything at all when they crashed a plane into a
They-
building?
They were doing what they were told
Exactly.
by somebody else.
They were like brainwashed pretty much. But listen,
They
if he
were.
was far right Republican, do you think someone should say, "Oh, that's the Republican Party's fault that he did all that"?
No.
Okay, then since these two people did something like that, you can't say, "Oh, it's just the Muslim religion. That's just
Danny,
the
that
way
was
they
more
are."
than two people. Pentagon, two
I'm-
towers.
that's what I'm
the
saying.
White House.
It's okay. The Muslim religion has millions and millions and millions of followers, and this was a group of probably 500 to 1,000, a radical group. That should not speak for an entire religion. That's like, since he shot up the thing and he's Republican, you can't go and say the Republican Party's going to go and shoot everybody.
But you can't tell me that when I see a woman all wrapped up with her head in her gown, that I'm not thinking she's got something under that
That
gown.
is underlying racism because
I
you're,
can't help it.
Exactly.
They're the
you're
ones
not
that
used,
put my fear there.
You're not used. They're not the ones.
If she doesn't want to change her outfit to make it look better, like more, she looks like she's hiding. When you've got secrets.
That's their customs in their country and their religion.
I know. Because they don't like women, because they, we're bad.
Would you hate a Jewish person for having a beard and a small hat?
No.
It's the exact
Amish.
same thing.
And Amish
Yeah,
people
that is
have
the
their
exact
own.
same thing.
It is identical.
The only
When an
re-
Amish man walks out of his Amish community with his hat on and his little bow tie and his outfit, he is not hiding anything. When that woman walks into Walmart and she's got this robe wrapped around her and a cloak, you don't know what the hell's under there. I don't like that. That's just who I am. I'm not saying that she's bad. I'm not saying that she's good. I'm just saying, don't wear that to Walmart.
And
Just
they-
like I don't want to see, what was his name that wore the trench coat to Pea Ridge? I went to his mother and told her, where did he get that coat? Oh, it's
You
funny.
just said that because after the Columbine thing happened.
No, that was well, it could have been.
It was
I don't
because
know.
of Columbine.
I told her
Just because two people
he
wore
is
trench coats.
walking in there with that coat. She went and made him take it off.
You're applying these
Josh,
events
that's who it
that
was,
happen
and I didn't like it.
to everything.
I don't care. It looks bad. What is an elementary kid coming into school with a trench coat on?
Okay, think about it like before
Walking
the
like he
90s.
was
No,
against
think
them.
about it like in the 80s. Like business people just wearing trench coats to work like normally. Like there was no stigma behind trench coats until two people wore them and shot up a school.
They weren't worn to school, Alexander. You know what was worn to school when it was in the 80s? They wore leather
I'm
jackets.
sure people
And
wore
they wore
trench
jeans,
coats to school
and they were
before.
Levi's. And that's what we used to do. We used to run around everybody's ass and pull the Levi tag off of it and think we were hot because we got your Levi tag. And you would be mad and come charging me.
You just keep trying to change the subject because
But-
you can't defend anything you say. with
No,
logic.
I'm trying to show you that what you're saying is unrealistic.
You're saying
It's
that
just like I look at every black person like they're fixing to attack me. Because I was bused into a black school where they had no problem putting your head in a toilet.
that's racist.
You
If
didn't
you
go
look
to the
at every
bathroom.
person like
No, that is
based on
friggin'
attack
fear.
you. That's
Where they
racist.
set the roads
That's
on fire
racism.
because we were coming into their school. No, I didn't ask to be bussed into there, but I went because I was
Okay.
made to go, and it was a good thing. It has changed us.
But can you see how this is racist?
No,
How?
read what it says. How did we go from that to this?
Because we live in America. She is American. Her religion is Muslim. She is not from the Middle East. She was born in America. She's an American citizen. You're acting like
Well,
they're
then
like, all right,
why-
come on. From the Middle East, we're gonna put you on Congress. She's an American
I don't
citizen.
care if it would be an 80-year-old man standing up there in a suit and telling us that he hates America. He needs to be out of our
She's
Congress.
never
She
said
didn't
that.
say that.
Trump's lying when he says that because he does not like them.
I'm trying
They
to
showed
say
it on
no.
CNN
Stop talking.
what she did.
I'm trying to say, can you see how comparing her to a terrorist that killed
Okay,
3,000 people is racist?
Yes.
And it's also like completely uncalled for because she's probably actually a good person who's trying to make America a better place, and you're comparing her to a murderer just because of her religion.
No.
You're
Because of
comparing
her
her to a
voice.
murderer because she is Muslim. If she was white, you wouldn't compare her to the. If she was white, you wouldn't say, "Oh, look at this school shooter." You would say, "Oh, why would you say that about our country?" Which
If
is
you're going to
completely
say-
plausible.
If you're going to be put in a public position like that and talk negatively about where you're working, I don't care what job it is, then you don't need to be working there.
Okay.
Let me just
No,
say this.
hold on.
You get a job and you go in there and you say, you know what, they don't pay us worth the just like all the negativity that was going on in your little circle there, and them saying bad things about the company, then they don't need to be, then you're right, they need to go look for a new
Okay.
job.
Well,
They don't need to keep the job while they go find a new job. They need
Oh
to
my
go ahead and leave
Okay,
that job.
Stop. Listen, that's completely plausible. to
It's no
say.
different than me
Stop
being told
interrupting
that, oh, over here at Byram Street, that the girl walking down the street is dealing drugs when she looks like she's walking to go to work. She's black, she's got a uniform on, and she's going to work. But yet she's dealing drugs. Don't you see that? She's walking, she's probably a prostitute too.
Who said that?
The garbage man.
Yeah, that's racist. But listen, listen. You saying you don't want them to work there because they said, if they said that makes sense. But saying, oh, look at this Muslim, comparing it to 9/11 isn't the same.
Radical.
That's messed up for you
It's
to say
radical.
that.
Okay.
You should
Radical.
delete that. That's not something, if you ever want to get a job again, that isn't something you want to have on your Facebook. Like, that's something a company wouldn't hire you over. Like, if Northrop Grumman saw me post that, they wouldn't have hired me.
If Trump went to be hired by any job or was working somewhere, anything that he said, he would be fired for being racist and lying.
You should delete that. It's just not right to compare someone to a terrorist when they say.
Or a group.
Yeah,
You're
you're generalizing a massive group of people based
Right.
on a small group of people what they did,
When
which
that's
isn't
not what
right.
I mean.
That's not right.
Well, that's not what I mean.
There's
either.
a small group of radical Republicans who have been responsible for shootings, but that doesn't mean all Republicans are shooters and want to kill people.
No.
It's the same thing.
True. Just like I generalize other things as well.
Also,
And it's
Russia.
only because of what I've been exposed to and seen and heard and gone through.
Also, Russia and Saudi Arabia are manipulating all of the conservative and Republican people on Facebook by creating pictures like that and creating fake pages that put those types of things on them and going further and further and putting lies on them.
I think Facebook
That's
is
what-
watching for that. now.
They're trying to, but there's literally hundreds of thousands that they're doing. And it's not even people in America making it.
Well, they're outsmarting Facebook.
They're just making so many that a single office isn't even able to look through all of them.
They're different than that IT girl. Did you hear about the girl that's the college student, the IT college graduate? She just did this in Seattle. The FBI, everybody stormed her apartment with all her roommates and they were flipping out. She hacked into, what was it, Chase? It was some big, huge bank. And she hacked in and decoded it or whatever and had millions of social security numbers and everything about everyone else. And she only did it because she couldn't believe that she was that smart to do it. So she did it to
So
see.
was that easy?
Yeah, and she did it. So now she'll have a great job.
They
because they're
should be
gonna put
thanking her.
They're gonna put her in a great job.
No, she's in prison.
She won't be there long.
She's in prison for 20 years.
No, Christopher, it just happened.
Yeah,
No, she won't
that's the
be.
sentence she's facing.
No, she won't
The
be.
FBI.
Watch. She will help them. There will be a plea deal there where she'll help them and they'll help her.
But seriously, they'll make fake stuff like that to get spread around that has lies on it or is racist, and because they want the conservative people to vote conservative because they like the conservative leaders. They like dealing with them instead of any other side.
My whole thing and my whole point was, doesn't it make you stop and think about what made this boy, because to me he's still a kid, because he is, do such a horrific thing?
No, because you can't rationalize someone who's in any mindset that's capable of going and killing 20 people. There's no way to logically try to rationalize anything they were thinking or doing.
It would be equal to the guy that tried bombing a whole bunch of Democratic leaders, thinking that Trump was telling him to do that. He was just a crazy alt-right person.
Like, there's no way you can go to what he did and trace it back to, like, this is
One
why
day.
he did it. It's just a web of mental illness with all of his different life experiences that led him to that point. And I
It was
think
his
the
environment.
biggest thing isn't, oh, let's get rid of guns. I think the biggest thing is, yes, make background checks more, but focus more on mental illness and trying to help people be treated with mental illness and being able to identify it when they're kids to be able to help them.
Right.
Because there's nothing in place around mental illness. The only thing society has about mental illness is the super negative stigma around it. Like, there's millions of Americans who live with, like, different illnesses, whether it be like social anxiety or all the way to, like,
ADD.
yeah, there's so much, but everyone always puts the stigma of, oh, they're crazy.
Right.
When it's the same thing as if you get sick, like someone has a disease, it's the same thing. Mental illness is like they have an illness and they need help to be able to be treated for it. These people aren't getting help because society has put such a negative stigma on it. It's
But-
like you dismiss them and call them crazy before you go and try to help them.
Well, this guy isn't crazy.
I
He's
know,
just
I'm
a
saying in
hateful
general about
person.
Other stuff. Like the kid who did Stoneman Douglas, like he's literally insane. He needed mental help.
He's dead.
They didn't kill him yet. Nicholas Cruz. I don't think he got that sentence.
That was Parkland?
Yeah.
I thought he died.
He
I
didn't
thought
kill
they killed him.
No. He's still alive. They have like some
His-
of his interview stuff.
His brother, wasn't it his brother that we saw something about?
His brother came to the jail cell and forgave him and like gave him a hug and everything. And was like, what happened? Like, why would you do that? And
Yeah,
he was
what-
just like, I don't know. He was just completely desensorized to like everything. It looked like he was like an animal.
Right.
He couldn't even like
Blacked
process
out.
what he was doing.
Your brain is so sensitive that, like I tell you both, and I've told you, you need to be careful what you allow your brain to hear and see. When you take in so much violence and you take in so much blood and guts and crap, what do you think that's doing to your brain? And now, of course, like you're saying, they're having to, mental counselors, mental health people are getting trained in stuff more and more.
Yeah, that's why it's a really good time to actually go to school for psychology, because there's going to be like a giant movement around destigmatizing mental illness. So
It's gonna be
they're making
definitely.
some money.
No, it'll be hundreds of them making very little with tons of people.
No, that's not true. It's gonna be a good living. How much do you think's a good living? I mean,
Sebastian's 29, he's making 101K.
but he hates it.
He doesn't hate it, he hates Northrop Grumman. The way the company treats him. He likes doing the engineering, being with the jet, but he doesn't like the way Northrop Grumman. You want to hear what made me so mad this last week? I've been working on change requests where they have the jet in the hangar on the runway. They're like, we need to do a mission right now, but this doesn't work. This is kind of cool. There's this thing called liaison engineers, which I would probably like to be for a little bit. And they're not in an office. They're there with the plane. And they make up a way to make something work on the spot. They'll be like, all right, we have a mission in an hour. This doesn't work. You have to create something to make it work. And they do a fix right there on the runway just to be able to get them off and going. But then they have to fill out all the paperwork and send it to us, because then we actually have to go in and put them into like CAD models and drawings and everything. And a lot of times it'll be a band-aid, it's a quick fix, but you can't have that on the plane because like
It's dangerous.
it's bad engineering.
It'll
but
break
it's
in a
good for the
week.
moment. Yeah. So I've been going through and like doing deep dives into all of those and actually like changing stuff. And this guy named Bill Hood, this good old boomer, baby boomer from like, he was on the start of the program. He did like our training and everything for it over Skype. He's in Palmdale with Reggie. And he's like, alright, so like you want to do like a deep dive and like go super in depth, blah blah blah. You want to ask the people who did the change, why they did the change, all this. I've been doing fine. Like he used mine as like the example, and everyone based theirs off of mine, because you need to make a PowerPoint dispositioning why or why not, and we need to present them in front of like the engineering board or whatever. And I have this one where Bill is the one who wrote the ECR, the guy who trained us, who said, ask the person who writes your ECR, blah blah. And I'm going through it, and I'm trying to think of what I can say. They just ended up saying, oh, this piece doesn't need an extra coat of whatever anodization between it. Like it has enough. So I go through it, and I have like the plane, and I do like context showing where it is and everything, blah blah blah, and I go through. And then I'm talking, there's a guy who sits right to the right of me. He's like a doctorate in materials. And I'm like, Doc, there's this material on here, and they're trying to take this anodization off. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can't take the anodization off. And he's like, okay, figure out what the material is on the wall. And I'm sitting there going through like tons of models and crap, and I can't find anything. And eventually he's like, yeah, just email Bill. And then Desiree also says, yeah, email Bill so we can figure out what the material is. I emailed Bill asking, because he was the one who wrote the ECR. And he got mad and sent an email to Sebastian telling me not to send him emails with stupid questions like that I can figure that out there. And then Sebastian had to deliver his message because he didn't have balls enough to send it back directly to me. So then Sebastian had to come and like rat me out about it. And I'm like, I was told to do this by my mentor engineers. Like, and of course so at that point I'm just pissed off. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna prove that Bill's wrong because he's obviously wrong. So I go in and I finally find out the type of wall, and it's like a carbon-based wall against aluminum. And when carbon touches aluminum, it's conductive. It has a high thermal conductivity. So it has galvanic corrosion that's able to corrode in less than a year and completely fall apart. There's been instances of entire planes having galvanic corrosion on the through box of their wings, and a plane actually crashed because its wings fell off due to galvanic corrosion. So I'm like, Bill just approved this when it's complete, and so I did the whole disposition, and it's funny because everyone's already annoyed with Bill, so they're like Sebastian was like, I don't understand how someone with 50 years of engineering experience could do something so stupid.
Right.
Because like that's like one of the major things, like, okay,
Don't you
put
know?
similar materials together. Don't put different materials because they corrode. And he's like over here saying, oh, we don't need the anodization. It has a coat of paint on it. It'll be fine. Like one little scratch and the whole thing's going to corrode. So I had a good time typing it up. I'm like, this ECR is rejected because blah, 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 blah. And I wrote the whole paragraph about how he was wrong. And then I sent it off and I left. And I was like, there you go, Bill. Thanks for not answering my email. It's funny.
No, you proved that it was
I know, it's
wrong.
funny because that's one of the ones I presented in the thing, and everyone was like, we got him! Because everyone's so annoyed with him because he's just like stuck in this like same mindset, like everything used to be done my way, the way I did it when I was a young engineer. When it's like completely, we could do it so much easier.
So what's going to happen now?
He's not fired.
Will
He's
you
just-
actually be getting the response?
I won't, but they're not gonna do his thing
No,
that
I'm
he
saying-
requested.
Will somebody call you and say, oh my God, you pissed him off so bad?
No, but I'll just have that feeling on the inside that I know that I pissed him off all the way out in Palmdale. 'Cause
Or
I
that you did
rejected-
something better?
I've rejected like
You
tons
saved
of
some
ECRs.
lives.
It's not that critical of
Right.
the safety part, but like literally doing that is just complete poor, like piss poor engineering if you would incorporate something like that.
He's probably just doing something so he's
Well,
working.
you should have given that to the main person.
No, there's a ton of. We have like 700 of these change requests that are backlogged.
I know, I mean, like, he probably just did that so that he had something to do that, like, month.
They're gonna miss you.
My manager, I feel like she didn't like me. I don't understand why.
Why do you feel that way?
She never came into work. She never knew what any of us interns are doing. So I'm the youngest. I'm a freshman. I feel like
She had eyes watching you.
No, she does. She literally didn't. She had no clue what we were doing, and she literally has this like automatic predisposition to be like, well, he's the youngest. Like he's not doing anything, kind of deal. So I did like my one-on-one, and she did like my review. I was reading other people's, and it's like, yeah, they did like a good job like asking questions and doing stuff. And then on mine, she put, he learned from the other interns. And I went off. I had a 10,000 character thing, and I wrote in there every single thing that I did this entire summer because I did more than literally any intern there at all. And I was like, I've gone through and approved 13 ECRs, rejected 4 of them. Bill used mine as the example for the other interns to, like, I went and wrote out everything I'd done because she had no clue what I've done. And she was acting like I was just sitting there and doing nothing. I was like, I know how to do these programs better than the seniors that are here. It made me so mad. Anthony was mad. He's like been there for a year, and he's like, you've literally done more than I did last summer and more than anyone here. And she's gonna favor other people just because like little click stuff, like, oh, my little guys from OU, my little country boys, I'm gonna give you an offer letter. Like,
Or did she offer you anything?
I'm probably gonna get an offer to come back next summer.
Oh, you already have.
Yeah, I might try to go to St. Augustine. They have drone stuff there.
What?
Drone stuff.
Drones.
And they have the E2D, giant one with like the big satellite dish on top.
Did you see your little black plane I got out of your box?
Mm-hmm. What's it called?
B2 bomber. Did you see my post on that?
Yeah, that you shouldn't post that.
Why, Reggie did it.
Reggie posted it on his Facebook.
Or no, somebody with Northrop done.
I'm sure Reggie did. No, Northrop Grumman, the Northrop Grumman page posted that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Reggie wouldn't have posted that.
I don't
That would be a security risk for sure. I would put a target on his head.
Why? They're the
He's-
ones that posted it.
Yeah, okay, the company makes the B2. That's cool. But when you know the people who know the classified details of the plane, it puts a target on you. Because China wants to make a B2 bomber that's as good as ours, so they're trying to get the intelligence. If they know that you've been with the program for 30 years, Reggie knows so much that they could probe from him. They said they've had problems in the past 2 years with
2 years.
few years. I had a counterintelligence meeting the other day, and they said that
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk about
women
it.
were soliciting men online, and then they would get them to send nude pictures of themselves, and then they would get their pictures and be like, if you don't tell us these details about your program, we're posting these everywhere on the internet with your name on them. And that's what some like intelligence organizations are doing now. I'm like, how could
That's
you
so
be so stupid?
Even like to care, like
No,
you gotta be so self-centered if you think putting a picture on the internet is going to ruin your life.
yeah, like even if that happened to me, I'd be like, okay, post it. I'm not gonna give away my my country's fighting edge.
Literally, it's
That's not
almost
worth it.
certain that no one here in Pace would be able to find that picture.
I know. I feel like it's more like if you're a public figure or a bigger person in the company, you would be screwed. I met Richard Sullivan.
Which is?
He's like the head of the entire B2 program.
He came
Shook
to your
his
office.
hand. I said, what?
He came to your office.
Yeah.
Was he
He
just
came to congratulate Jacob Schoenfield and a few other people because they made like a really. They engineered something that was really important. And they're like all pretty young engineers and they came up with it themselves. So he like came to like shake their hands himself and like for everyone. Because there's multiple locations of Northrop there. Like there's other ones.
Oh.
I'm not, like in that I'm not allowed to like say whatever, but like they have
Several
yeah.
in town.
So everyone came in and like I'm pretty sure they're all gonna get rate promotions too.
Well, you know, or bonuses. Give it a trip.
Anthony's trying to get a signing bonus.
Now, how old is he?
23?
He's not the guy that was sitting there doing absolutely nothing.
No, he's 23.
who is the guy sitting there doing absolutely nothing?
Christian, Colson, John Parnell, Kate,
No, you said
literally
somebody was
everyone.
one guy
What were
there
they
that
doing?
was just worthless.
AC.
That's been there for a while.
Oh, Mike Grilly? Yeah, this last week he didn't even show up to work. He went on a cruise.
He was on vacation.
No, he didn't. He never put in for vacation.
He just left?
Yes.
He can't do that.
He sits there with his feet under his desk, bare feet. He takes off his shoes. And he sits there with a solid model open, Reddit open, and then split, and he reads these like novels. And he sits there and reads all. He doesn't do anything at all. Anthony, the intern, has talked to the manager and said, "Why does he work here?" And she won't fire him.
He might be the snitch. He's
What?
the one that's sitting in there for her.
No, that's not how it is. They don't fire anyone.
I'm sure they do.
They don't. They literally don't. Like, unless you, like, completely screw something up, or if you, like, do something terrible, they won't fire anyone.
You know, that's what they used to say about Coke and Pepsi. Once you had a job there, you had it
Everyone who
forever.
works there has, like, they've all been there for 30, 40, 50 years. Like, they won't, and I think it's kind of problematic because there are definitely people that don't deserve to be working there
It's
that
like
need to be
teachers.
fired.
That's what teachers used to say.
And they hire, like, so many veterans, and then half the veterans have no clue what they're doing because they're
Sounds
they
like a
went to the
job.
military. I met this one guy. His name's Brad. He's in his 20s. He makes more than Sebastian does. He's like a T4. He makes like probably $120,000 a year.
He's
and
smart.
He's also a professor at Embry-Riddle at the same time, doing online professors. And he'll get $850 a week just for doing like 2 hours of like grading. And he says he doesn't actually, because I met him and he's like the class clown kind of guy. Like, he's like, yeah, I don't do any, like, I barely do anything. All I do is grade papers and they pay me just because he has like the master's degree to be able to teach. And he also was a B2 pilot. There's a guy who works at Northrop that I went to a meeting with, and he's done the most spacewalks as an astronaut.
You met an
ever.
astronaut?
Yeah, he's a vice president in Northrop now.
Are you serious?
He's done, he has the world record for like the most space, like actually when they go out in space, yeah, he's done the most of those of any astronaut ever.
He's probably got a huge cancer risk then.
That's excellent.
From
How
radiation.
Or he's 50s maybe? Probably his 50s.
old is he? I bet he was so
Because he was in the
cool.
shuttle program.
Did he have any rocks that he brought back?
He didn't go to the moon.
Any planet.
We've never been to a different planet other than Earth, Mom.
We haven't
They
been
go
to the
space,
moon
all
since
they do is orbit
1970s.
around Earth. We've never even been out of orbit except for when we went to the moon. The James Webb Space Telescope, though, that Northrop's building, that NASA's taking credit for, and never says, like, anywhere you see it, it says NASA James Webb Telescope, even though Northrop is the one doing everything. But it's powerful enough that it's going to be able to see the first light ever emitted, like, ever in the
I need
universe.
you to do it now. Sit down and write Reggie a letter and tell him what your experience was and just kind of fill him in on what happened and how respected he is. He doesn't know. He has no idea. He just, because they don't treat him really good, I guess.
I need to go to Space Park next summer
What's
and
that?
work there. There's this thing called Space Park. It's like NASA, Northrop, Lockheed, and Boeing all like in like a circle, and it's all of their space programs just together.
That would be so cool.
It's
How
in
much is that?
California.
How much is that?
How much would I get paid?
Yeah.
More than doing aerospace, probably. I mean, we bought Orbital ATK last year, which is a space rocket company.
I think
I mean,
you
we're
should
already a
stick with
space
Northrop.
company.
They've been so good to you.
They built the lunar module, like the thing that actually landed on the moon with Neil Armstrong was Northrop's.
And you love the people there. They're
Eh,
cool.
I want to go see what NASA's about.
NASA's got no funding.
They have enough funding to make $1 billion telescope.
But nothing else
We
right
were
now.
looking at our telescope.
They don't have
The one
enough
that's
for
outside
the
still
stuff they
works.
want to do in space, but they're doing like a ton of other stuff, just like studying the planet that doesn't have to do with space.
That's getting the cut funding as well,
They're also going to the moon and building a space station. So,
supposedly.
what is it? What are these ones called?
We're going.
Is it Artemis or is it? That's what it's called. Boeing's the one that's like trying to build their stuff.
Boeing is in Mobile.
NASA doesn't build anything themselves. They hire Boeing, Lockheed, and Northrop, and we build everything for them. And then they slap the NASA logo on it and say, "We got the funding from the government, so it was us."
Yeah, it's because it's just like smaller. Here's what we want to do, and then they hire the private companies like the capitalist stuff
Yeah,
we
They
do.
like do the planning, and then we do the building.
Yeah.
I mean,
plus
it's like contractors.
you're working with the government. They could send you
Nor-
anywhere they want.
Did you know the mail trucks?
Mhm.
Those are Northrop Grumman mail trucks. They designed and built the square mail trucks. They're Northrop Grumman.
They so need to be redesigned though.
What about
They're awful.
UPS? Yes, they're
UPS,
big,
no.
big square boxes.
UPS, I think, was just built by like Mercedes or something. It was whoever has the engine in it.
I don't know.
What are we gonna do today?
Get excited.
Excited about what?
We're going to space, Alexander.
To be living. Why? What do you want to do?
Okay.
He wants to go see a movie, Mom.
I think you could fall asleep in a movie.
No, you'd fall asleep in a movie.
No.
Yeah.
I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Isn't it awful?
No, it was good.
What's that about?
You would hate it, Mom.
Why?
Because it's a Tarantino movie.
Yeah. It's blood and guts.
Yeah, it's always like that. But it was,
You have to
it
watch
has
what
Leonardo
you're taking
DiCaprio
in.
and Brad Pitt.
Oh, I wanted to see that movie.
You would be like, yeah, it's about Charles Manson and the cult.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
It's not a, it says, it makes it seem like it's about it, but it's just happening at the same time. It's kind of weird, because I thought it was going to be a movie about Charles Manson, but it's not at all.
It's about Hollywood.
Yeah, it's following, Leonardo DiCaprio is an actor whose career is like falling off, and he's trying to come to terms with it, and Brad Pitt's his stunt double, and they're like both, he's from like Western TV shows in the 60s, and he's trying to come to terms with, he's being casted as villains now because his career is falling off and no one like cares. And at the same time, you know Sharon Tate, she was the one who got murdered, her baby cut out. She's also in it, played by Margot Robbie, and it like shows like what they're doing at the same time. It's weird.
It's no different than him being alive. I don't believe he should still be alive.
He's not. He died.
Well, he lived a long life in prison, and he got
That
remarried.
dude was insane. He is like cuckoo, bananas, bonkers.
And how did he get women to come in there and give him
He was
money?
like super manipulative. Like he was like crazy, but a genius at the same time because he could manipulate anyone just by talking to them.
And make you believe something.
I mean,
That
he
was-
got someone to marry him while he was in jail.
2 of them.
Yeah, he is like,
He got
he's
women to love
crazy.
him.
Yeah, he had so many people in his cult living. They're living on a movie set ranch. Do you know that? Yeah. So it has like the ranch in the movie.
It was
and
like
stuff.
he was living he had 2 different brains. Because he could do he was one way one person and then he was another way another person.
Originally, he wasn't completely violent like that either. He was just trying to like make a group of like hippies where there's like gonna like trip out on like LSD, like stuff like that. He made a song with one of the members of the
Yes.
Beach Boys
Was it
before
all-
he was evil.
He was always evil.
Okay,
That song
like
that
before-
music is awful.
It was with the Beach Boys.
But the sound, have you ever heard it?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Like screeching and all this horror looking sounding stuff. It wasn't
Anyway,
quite good.
it was a good movie. It had a very unexpected plot.
Then why are you saying it was good?
It left me like,
What, do they just kill Hitler at the end?
that's what happens in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, it's not a twist whenever he rewrites history.
No, it wasn't.
It's what he
just,
does.
It's how it all like turns out. Like it was a good, like the acting by Leo and Brad Pitt are really good. It's like, have you ever seen Pulp Fiction?
No, of
With
course
John
not.
Travolta and
Never.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, I
No.
have.
What was it about?
I don't know. Because I really didn't watch it.
You
I fell
didn't watch
asleep.
it.
It was
That's
boring.
also a Tarantino movie. It has like a
It
lot.
was boring to me.
It has a lot of boring monologue
yeah,
and
it
stuff,
was weird.
but it's like
I mean, I started to watch it, but it was strange.
Pulp Fiction is like the least boring of his movies. There's so much that happens.
I don't understand. I didn't get the connection of the plot where they were dancing, but before that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
John
It was
Travolta.
weird.
John Travolta works for a mob boss.
But they don't tell you that.
Yes, they do. The girl is the mob boss's like girlfriend/wife, and he was out of town, so he told John Travolta to go and have a good time with her and keep her occupied while he's out of town. And that's
Well,
why they went and
he's
danced.
her bodyguard.
Yeah, he
And
was
the entire
basically
time
her
he's
bodyguard.
walking around looking to. She's being an idiot, refusing to stay in the house, going out into public places. So he's like running around the restaurant looking to see if there's an enemy about to shoot her.
Yeah, I feel like you would really not like that movie either once you get more into it.
She's just.
What?
You can't stand even fake violence.
If it has a good plot to it and it's not all blood and guts.
Okay, so how would you feel about Samuel L. Jackson driving a car and John Travolta goes to the back and he's trying to talk to the dude in the back with his gun like this and they accidentally shoots his head and his head blows up
Yeah.
in the car?
I saw that. That's
Yeah.
awful.
It was hilarious though. Like,
Hilarious.
It's awful, but like the context of how it happened, and then they were like, "Oh my God, you just shot his head off in my car all over my leather and everything."
It was awful.
It's funny because then they have to go to the guy to help them clean it up, and the guy they go to is Quentin Tarantino himself. He's playing in his own movie. 'Cause he was an actor before.
Everyone says
he was
his
a
movies
director.
are really good.
You know, not really. They're just actually like quality compared to like other stuff that's made at the same time. It's like you could go see an Avengers movie, or you could see the new Quentin Tarantino movie,
Yeah.
and they're not even like similar.
He keeps like he really likes the 60s style of directing and like the shots that he does. And there's a lot of monologue that you think is pointless, but all the monologue is foreshadowing what's supposed to happen. And it's also like getting you more in depth with the characters. Like in Inglourious Bastards, it's about there's like this group of Americans who are in Germany, like Nazi Germany, and there's one part where they're trying to like disguise themselves as Nazis, and they're all sitting at a bar and talking, and then they end up like asking for drinks or something, and one of the Americans like holds up like, I want I think it was like this, I want 3 drinks, but the German way, and like in Europe when they say 3 they say it like this, so the German noticed that he asked for the 3 differently, and it was just like that little subtle notice that got them caught, and then they all get in like a gunfight and stuff over it, even though they go through like a super long, like 15-minute monologue going back and forth and talking, and then that one tiny little thing gave him away. We were watching this one movie in here, it was Tarantino. It was like The Hateful Eight. They were like all stuck in the cabin during winter in like the Wild West, and people started like killing each other.
Yes.
He's only making 10 movies though, and that was his 9th movie. He also made Kill Bill
That was awful.
with Uma Thurman. Her daughter is in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's amazing that all of us have kids now that are old.
And she's in Stranger Things.
I don't know.